Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday night racing action here, Racing for a Cause TV. Tonight we bring you Racing for a Cause late model series here at International Speedway, Florida, USA International Speedway. I'll get that out yet. International Speedway in Florida. It's 3/4 of a mile long, 14-degree bank turns. It should set up for some really exciting action. My name is Chris Legue. In the booth with me tonight, Rick Hammond Jr. And Rick, how you doing tonight, bud?
Doing great, buddy. Happy hump day. We made it to Wednesday.
No doubt about it. And it couldn't have come soon enough. We're just about 5 minutes done left of practice. We're going to throw it to the invocation and we'll get rolling here pretty soon. Thank you to everybody who's joined us so far, and we look forward to bringing you some great racing action.
The next series right here. So to get us going, let's go trackside here and join tonight's opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as our colors are presented by the United States Army Nashville Recruiting Battalion. Last ribbon standing for invocation delivered tonight by Joe Nels, pastor of Family Baptist Church in Lebanon, Tennessee.
Heavenly Father, we thank you tonight for all your blessings. You said in all things give thanks. So we want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. And most of all, we thank you for Rouse and Yates partnering to give us the power that we see before us tonight. Thank you for GM Performance Technology and the R07 engines. Thank you for Sunoco Racing Fuel and Goodyear tires that bring performance and power to the track. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. My two children, Eli and Emma, or as we like to call them, the little E's. Lord, I pray you bless the drivers and use them tonight. May they put on a performance worthy of this great track. In Jesus' name, boogity, 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 amen.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for our next event, presented by Davey Flowers.
And that's an invocation that we can all get behind right there. Boogity, boogity, boogity. We're about to go racing. Practice is almost done. So what do you think, Rick? We're going to have an exciting race tonight or what?
It's looking good, Chris. These guys have been putting in some practice this week on this track. A couple of members threw up some hosted sessions, so they're kind of worried about the track. I'm not sure why. I mean, it's USA. It is a little tricky, but not as bad as the past race over in Iowa. So we'll see what happens.
Well, I think some of it might be, week one jitters are done. Now it's time to kind of really get ready. If you had a bad week last week, your drop week is done. You got to perform from here on out, or you're going to start losing ground in the points chase. And that's what it's all about. Points, points, points.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there. It's a good track. We're back to our roots now. We're on a true short track, something that you would see these guys racing week in and week out in your hometown. So it's going to be exciting. I think we're going to have some great door-to-door action here tonight.
I do too, and I can't wait to bring all the action to you. Again, practice is almost done. 100 laps here tonight on the 3/4 mile track. USA International Speedway, like Rick said, getting kind of back to our short track roots here with the late model series. Really excited for tonight, and looking to see who kind of comes out on top.
I think it's really going to be anybody's race, Chris, to be honest with you. I mean, looking back at past seasons, we've raced USA a couple of times, and it's always been good. We've had a really good time with it. So it's really anybody's race. But right now, I'm looking at Chris Metford, Troy Radford. Those guys do really good at this track. Jason Garrett. Obviously, Patrick Smith's hoping for a good night. Rowdy, I know, has been doing some practice there in the number 13 car. So it's going to be good.
The 13D Strong car, Rowdy Johnson, coming out on the track right now. Get a couple of more practice laps in before the end of this one. Last week's winner, Scott Noslin, one person I'm not seeing out there tonight. Don't know if he's not going to make it or if he's just running a little late. But that could be big.
That could be big. I haven't seen any talk from him at all today, so I'm not sure if he just got busy with the real life stuff. But maybe he feels good. He won last week. Um, he was very happy about that. Maybe he's letting some of these guys have a little chance.
As practice still winds down, I do want to thank everybody who's watching right now on the stream. Again, Racing for a Cause TV. We're here for you. If you want to talk to us, please shout out a message. We are watching the stream, trying to keep everybody happy. And yeah, it looks like some drivers are pulling in. Yeah, that's the end of practice. So we're getting ready to go qualifying. So far, nobody's taken the track. Maybe a little mind games going on tonight.
Maybe. We got a small field here, Chris. I'm counting 17 cars. Greeny's dad looks like he disconnected there manually. Troy Radford disconnected, but he got back in. So it's going to be a small field. It's going to make some really good racing. I mean, USA is not a very big track. There's not a whole lot of room. It seems to be more of a single groove track. So, 17 cars is going to be perfect. As right now I'm watching Andy Lambert. I'm not sure who you're watching on the stream, but he is out on the track doing his qualifying lap.
Well, if they are out there qualifying, I am not seeing them. So let me see if we can get that going here.
Yeah, as you're doing that, I'll just run down. Troy Radford just posted a time of 21.817. As of right now, he is the pole sitter, followed by Chris Mefford, Chris Rummel, Jason Garrett, Andy Lambert, Patrick Smith, Justin Penuel, Douglas Wysocki, Rowdy Johnson, Rick Greenaway, and James Edward have all posted times so far.
Okay, yeah, something's going on tonight, and for some reason I can't bring qualifying action, but that's okay. We're going to get through it. We'll be able to broadcast the race. I have no fear of that. I've had this happen to me one other time. So, I guess we're going to see in about 3 minutes how the grid looks, and honestly, I can't wait. I'm really ready for tonight. Last week was a good race. I think it really got them ready for what was coming on the schedule. That was shorter racetracks. Going to be some tight action. Sometimes you might have to force a pass. The only way to do that, put the bumper to them.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The next few weeks it looks like pretty good. After tonight, we're going to be heading over to Irwindale and then Lanier, Five Flags, the Bullring, Martinsville. That's going to be before that's going to lead us up to the 4th of July break. So, these guys got some good small tracks coming after the break of the week of July 4th. They head out to Langley, South Boston, Thompson, New Smyrna, Stafford, and then finishing the season, week 13, at New Hampshire.
And we'll be ready to go for all of them. So far, Rick, who's got the pole so far?
As of right now, there's a couple guys still out on the track trying to post their qualifying time. We just had Gerald West drop in to the race, late entry in the number 86 car there. But right now, Troy Radford is holding the pole with that 21.817, followed by Chris Mefford, 21.821. Brian Hacker, a new member to the league. I'd like to say welcome to you, Brian. He is sitting third right now with a 21.908. Chris Rummel with a 21.945. Jason Garrett with a 22.009. Andy Lambert had a really good race there, or good qualifying, I should say, coming in sixth so far with a 22.037. Patrick Smith in that number 75 car is coming in seventh with a 22.063. Terry Bates comes in eighth with a 22.070. Justin Penuel ninth with a 22.070. 086. Stacy Bedard is taking the 10th, and that's going to round out the top 10th. Timothy Hale, 11th. Rowdy Johnson, 12th. Doug Wysocki in 13th. Rick Greenaway had a 14th place qualifying run with Hilton Young, James Edwards, and David Bachman.
Well, it sounds like a pretty good field, and again, I can't wait. How much longer is it till the race begins, do you figure?
Right now I'm showing about 10 seconds left of qualifying. I know that they were waiting to see somebody was trying to get in. I'm not sure if that was Gerald West or not in that number 86 car, Chris, but we're going to be starting here momentarily.
Okay, the time has almost come. We're going to get ready to go here at USA International Speedway, Racing for a Cause TV, ready to bring you the action.
Audio Jungle.
As they come to the grid, Chris, they're waiting for one more member just to see if they're going to make in. I guess he's been trying to get into the track, and I think he's being held up by security there, but they are starting to grid up there at the start-finish line.
Okay. And you see it. Still some cars waiting to grid. We get ready to go. 100 laps here tonight, USA International Speedway. The car should be rolling off pretty soon.
So it looks like the series director, Steve Baker, is out tonight. I know he was going on vacation there. Wasn't sure if he was going to be able to make it or not, but it looks like Patrick Smith in the number 75, the series director for our K&N Throwback Series that runs on Monday nights here at Racing for a Cause, is taking over. He's just going over a few rules since we do have some new drivers here in the field, letting them know the more important things that we do here at Racing for a Cause. Which include reminding the guys that we don't have a fast repair in the series. It was taken away at the end of last season to try to get some good, clean running here as the car's moving now, following that pace car. And so we're getting ready. Everyone sounds excited on the radios, Chris. It's going to be good.
All right, we're ready to go. A couple of laps here before we begin. We're going to take you through the grid. I'm going to assume that my grid is right, and we're going to go with Troy Radford taking the pole with a 21.818. Chris Mefford in the 44 is your outside front row. Brian Hacker in the 11 car. Chris Rummel in the 52, your fourth place starter. Jason Garrett in the 73 starting fifth. Andy Lambert starting in sixth place in the 35. Patrick Smith in the 75 car starts seventh. Terry Bates 8th. Justin Pinnell, he starts 9th. Stacy Bedard, good to have him back on the track with us. He's starting 10th. Timothy Hale in the 00, he's starting 11th. Rowdy Johnson, the rowdy one, starting 12th. Douglas Wysocki, 13th. Rick Greenaway, 14th. Hilton T. Young, he starts 15th. James Edwards starts 16th. David Bachman, he starts 17th in the 84 car. Dylan Blankenship, he's starting 18th. And Gerald, well, there's a couple there that aren't actually going. So we're going to bring you the action as the pace car is in and we get ready to roar. Troy Radford brings them to the green flag and we're off and running 100 laps right here at USA International.
Got a little bit of movement here in the back, Chris. These guys are fighting really hard. The number 84 car just moves on the inside of the number 5 car of James Edwards. trying to complete that pass there. Rowdy slows down in that 13 car. That seems like that outside lane is not quite as good as the guys are hoping for here this early in the race. The number 86, Gerald West, did make it in. He is getting ready to pass the number 84 car on the outside.
All right, we watch Troy Radford starting to walk away the lead a little bit, and it's still early, so we can't make any promises that that'll stay the same. The 11 car, Brian Hackler, I believe he's absolutely new. This is the first race he's run with us, and here he goes. He's in second place for the night. Jason Garrett's worked his way up to third in the Home Depot machine, already third place there. Fourth place, Chris Rummel in that 52. A nice-looking bunch of cars on the track tonight.
Yeah, we're back to our roots here, Chris, with the Racing for a Cause. These guys have some cause paints on their cars. I'm looking at Troy Radford's car right now with the kidney foundation on his paint, and you are correct. Brian Hacker actually found us by one of our streams here on Racing for a Cause TV, and he decided that he liked what he saw, so he joined us up, and this is his first race.
And he is moving on the inside up to first place. He's being followed by Jason Garrett. Get us a little wiggly off from turn 4. Maintains third place, though. I think he's going to be okay. Troy Radford trying to figure out Brian Hackler's line, see if he can try and mimic it or follow it or find an even slightly better line. As you see, they're close to that outside wall on the straightaways. Jason Garrett trying to get an inside move on Troy Radford, but Troy shut the door on him, and positions stay as they were.
Yeah, well, there's as small of a track as we have here, Chris. These guys, 100 laps sounds like it's a halfway decent race as we take lap 6 there, heading into 7. These laps are going to tick off pretty quick, so these guys are getting antsy to get to where they want to be for the long haul. Everything's looking really good right now.
And it is. And Brian Hacker right now, he is starting to open up a little bit of a gap, almost a half a second on Troy Radford. Jason Garrett still sitting in third. We'll take a look a little further back. The 52 car of Chris Rummel, he's running fourth. The 44 of Chris Mefford, he's running in fifth. Andy Lambert, 6th. Patrick Smith in the 75 car, he's running 7th. JP, Justin Pinnell, he's running 8th. Timothy Hale, 9th. And Terry Bates rounds out your top 10 in the 98 car. So right now, nose to tail, trying to put some laps down, and they are definitely doing that.
Now they're doing a lot better here than they did over at Iowa. Not to knock the drivers at all, because first race, everybody has those jitters. New season, we have a lot of new guys. They want to prove that they can race with the veterans, so it's good. And I did have a chance today to talk to a few of the drivers, and like I was saying early in the broadcast, Chris, these guys put a lot of time into practice this week. USA is a free track, so most everybody who is on iRacing has spent a lot of time here, either in Legends cars, the street stock division, more so since it switches out every week with the Charlotte. But they're just a little bit worried. These guys are doing a really good job here tonight, though.
Keeping it clean and keeping it racy here at Racing for a Cause TV. I want to thank all the viewers again for stopping by and checking us out tonight. Also want to thank our drivers. Obviously, we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for them. We would have nothing to say and it'd be boring to watch. But speaking of Racing for a Cause, I did want to bring to attention one thing. If you happen to be a fan of ours and you're watching our website on Facebook, you may have noticed a GoFundMe page, and I want to bring light to that. And Rick, if you could, please go ahead and share a little info on that, please.
Yeah, I have it posted on our fan page, which is facebook.com/groups/Racing for a Cause. And I'll throw a link up here in chat for the viewers that are watching. But one of our members has fallen a little bit on hard times. Last year, he lost his cousin to a brain aneurysm. This March, he lost his aunt, who was fighting a battle with ALS. And he's doing what he has to do, working hard. I know that there's some job issues where some of the hours are going away. So the real life stuff's really starting to pressure, and he's doing what he has to do for his family. And he started selling his sim racing gear, and obviously that's not something that we want to see here at Racing for a Cause. That Chris and I started this league to be more than a league, First and foremost, it was to get the causes out, but what we ended up doing is making a lot of friends, and we really consider them family. So we made a GoFundMe page just to try to help out. It is on the page that Chris just linked there in chat. And, if you can't donate, don't feel bad. Please give it a share. If you can, every little bit helps, even if it's $1.
Yeah, that's right. Hate to see good people fall on hard times. And anything we can do to help, we sure will try it. That's what we're here for. Racing for a cause. We can try and be more than just a name. Getting back to the race, we'll go back to your leader, Brian Hacker. He is still up in front, ahead of Jason Garrett now in second place by a half a second. Troy Radford's fallen back to third. Chris Rummel, fourth. Chris Mefford, fifth place. That's your top five right now as they run. 16 laps down already. Make that 17 of 100 here at USA International Speedway. It's a short track, only 3/4 of a mile. Lots of action can happen though.
I think these drivers found out real quick that the track is a little bit slick there, Chris. We are running in the afternoon down here in Lakeland, Florida, as we ticket off the laps here at USA International Speedway. But yeah, these guys are doing a really good job. I mean, lap 18, everyone's found their place. They're just kind of hanging out, doing what they're doing as the laps tick down. I know there's some people who are probably looking for a caution, even though it is a little early, or for the leader to go in and pit. But I don't know, Brian Hacker in that number 11 car is doing a fabulous job showing these guys that he's here to mean business, and he's a great addition to the league. And once again, we want to welcome him.
No doubt. Welcome to the league, Brian Hacker. You definitely belong with us. And again, if you're watching and you want to get involved with the chat, feel free. We'll definitely talk to you.
I definitely want to throw out a very big thank you for the 12 viewers that we have watching right now. It's been bouncing up and down here, Chris. It's just outstanding. We appreciate everything that you guys do. You come out, you support us every Monday and Wednesday, and it's just fabulous to see. So thank you.
And speaking of next Monday, the K&N Throwback Series next week heads to Richmond for 150 laps at Richmond. That's going to be fun. That's a short track. It's going to be 112 and a half miles is what it works out to. That's going to be really fun to watch at Richmond. But here tonight, USA International, it's supplying the race. And so far, what a race it's been.
Well, these guys are doing a great job. I know as we're up here in the booth, we can see a little bit more than what the drivers can. But, in a few laps here, we're going to be looking at lap cars. And we're going to see that's going to throw a little bit of wrench in things. Hopefully they, can get by. The leaders can get by them fine. But it's going to get real interesting here real quick.
Right now, looking out behind the 18th position car of David Bachman in the 84. As you see in the background, the leader is on the far end of that backstretch, so he's coming, and it probably won't take him long to get there.
I'm trying to remember what the fuel window is here at USA, and they must be getting kind of close to having to come in for some green flag pit stops. I think you can do it with just one stop, so it's going to be interesting to see as we get almost a quarter of the way done here.
That's right. Do you sacrifice fuel mileage for tires or tires for fuel mileage? One of them is going to give up the other. It's going to be interesting to see. The longer they go, the slower they go, and you're starting to see it. They're backing down off from what they were at the beginning of the race as those tires start giving up just a little bit. And the man who's starting to like that quite a bit, Jason Garrett, as you saw him wiggle around that corner again.
As I was talking to the drivers today, a lot of them also said, besides the practice, they've been trying to get themselves psyched up and ready for a little bit of a patient run, and I can definitely see that the whole attitude has changed from last week in Iowa. It was a great race there. It was a night race, good start to the season. But these guys are really doing a good job here. They're pretty much single file all the way through as we're just ticking off the laps. Not much racing really going on right now. These guys are just staying cool, calm, and collected right now, Chris.
Yeah, that's what we're seeing, and they're starting to spread out a little bit more and a little bit more, but that's not going to be the way that this race unfolds, I guarantee it. There's going to be some pit strategy, and there's probably going to be an accident. I'm going to come out and say it. You get a nice
As the
look at all
laps
the
tick
cars.
away, we're definitely going to be getting into an issue with tires. I'm looking at the number 24 car of Greeny Greenaway there with his autism car. He's pushing up on the corners now, Chris. He's very tight, it looks like. As he's coming off, he starts down, but then he pushes right up towards the middle of the racetrack. So I know some of these guys are really starting to scream for tires. Like you said, the speed is starting to wear off, and the cars are either tightening up or they're getting really squirrely loose, as I just see Greeny's number 24 car wiggle there a little bit on the rear end.
Yeah, we saw the same thing, a little wiggle and then a push way up the track. Rick Greenaway trying to hold on to that 24 autism car. Meanwhile, Brian Hackler, he's within a spitball's distance of trying to put David Bachman, the 18th position car, in the 84 car, a lap down. And you see it right there. He's got a nice inside. David Bachman kind of moves to the outside to give a little bit of room. Not sure if Brian was expecting that because, that's something that we try and do, show a little respect to the leaders. And he certainly did a nice job of it as the leaders are starting to cross by him now.
Yeah, as I'm down here on pit road, Chris, just waiting to see what these guys are going to do. It was nice because, Mr. Bachman did exactly what we tried to promote here in the league. He did let the leaders know that he was going to go high. Please stay low if you can. And he's just letting them all go by as he's just cautiously standing there up towards the wall out of their way.
Meanwhile, slowly but surely, Jason Garrett is starting to reel in Brian Hacker just a little bit. He's down to a 3 to 4 tenths gap depending on where you're looking on the track. So he is starting to whittle down. It was as much as 6 tenths of a second. So it's coming. And that lap traffic, even though they're getting out of the way, definitely starting to throw a little fit to Brian Hacker as he is having to slow down to get around him. And Jason Garrett's doing a fine job of trying to weave through it himself.
Now, one thing I learned about Jason Garrett, who we have nicknamed Fluffy, Fluffy in that Home Depot machine, he's very collective on what he does. He keeps things nice and calm. He knows what he wants to do. He knows he can get around, but right now he's just being content and staying there, ticking away the tenths of a mile to catch up to Brian Hackett in that number 11 car. It's going to be, one move is what's going to happen as they pass Rick Greenaway in that number 24 car, and Fluffy had to go way down to miss him.
Yeah, the 24 car, Rick Greenaway, got a little bit into the wall there. And he's slowing way down, trying to stay out of the leader's ways. So, good job there from Greenaway trying to maintain composure. It's not easy after you slap the wall and you weren't expecting it, but he's doing a good job holding his line as the leaders are coming by.
Now, I don't know about you, Chris, but when I'm out on the track and I'm actually driving, I'm not up here in the booth, one of the things that really gets me worried is if I'm a lap car and the leaders are coming, I try to be respectful, try to let them pass, give them enough room, but it's always sitting in the back of your mind. Are you going to be that guy that causes the leaders to wreck because you were pushing a little too hard? So there's a lot of stress level there. It's stressful running a race, staying on the lead lap, especially leading a race. As Fluffy there just did a little curtsy with his rear end there as he got down towards the apron. But there's a lot of pressure on these guys when the leaders are coming around to try to give them enough room. They're trying to run their race too. They don't want to lose the people, lose any spots for the people that are behind them, but they're also trying to be courteous. So I know that's one thing that weighs on my mind as a driver when I'm driving. Even if I'm leading a race or I'm in the front pack, when we start getting up next to those lap cars, it really makes you wonder what they're going to do.
Yeah, it sure does. You got to be careful. Like you said, nobody wants to cause the first one. And so far, nobody has. Brian Hacker, your leader right now on the 11 car, doing a really nice job. I'm trying to see what he's got on his car for a paint job, and I guess it's Articat. Must be a snowmobiler. Somebody should tell him he's driving a car right now, and he's doing a heck of a good job doing it.
No, he's doing a fabulous job, Chris, and I will confirm that, yes, it is Articat Snow Machines. He has one there on the deck lid. On the front, I'm trying to read. It looks like he might be part of a team, and it looks like it might be Loves Park Motorsports.
There you go. Jason Garrett trying all of his moves, and so far nothing is working, as the lead now back to 0.6 of a second. That's allowing Troy Radford to stay on the bumper of Jason Garrett. Jason knows one little mess up and he could lose second place, but so far so good there. As we look back in the field, Chris Mefford still running fourth. Chris Rummel still running fifth. Andy Lambert in that black 35 doing a nice job, still sixth. And Justin Pinnell, he's up to seventh. So good job, Justin. I know he was one of the ones you were talking about as far as practicing. He actually hosted himself a server and got some extra practice in this week. So looks like it's doing the trick for him, as he is riding around 7th right now. 8th, your 00 car of Timothy Hale. That's the is that Children's Miracle Network? What is that, Rick? Can you tell the 00 car?
Yeah, before I switch over to that, Chris, it looks like the 84 of Dave Bachman did go into the pits, so he filled up with some Sunoco racing fuel and took some tires. So he is a lap, or actually he's 3 laps down right now because of that, but he didn't want to chance it anymore. As the 00 of Timothy Hale comes around, I want to say that it's, I believe, Brennan's Children's Hospital. It's a local children's hospital for him that he wanted to run, and one of our other members who hasn't had much of a chance to race yet because of real life schedules, Jay painted that car up for him and did a really good job.
Yeah, it does look good. Very good. So we've had one come into pits. I'm sure others will be following. Sometimes it is monkey see, monkey do. Let's take a look at Dave Bachman in the 84 car. See what those new tires will do for him. See if he can stay up ahead and try and get some positions back, maybe a couple of laps even. Looks like he has a very tight car. He's having a hard time keeping it to the bottom, which is where you need to be on the corners at USA. So, tight car, it's striking David. And you see right now, Pat Smith passing him. So, David with the new tires is still going the wrong way, but he's logging laps, doing a good job at it. Your leader, Brian Hacker, he's still up there in the 11 car. Jason Garrett still running second, and followed by Troy Radford in the 94. You got to think, oh.
Yeah, we have a caution out here, Chris. I didn't want to interrupt you, but Greeny Greenaway got a little squirrely there and went into the inside wall.
Yes, he did. So let's see if we can find him and take a look at that accident for ourselves. First replay of the day. It looks like he got into the back of the 37 car, tried to get off of him, and jammed the brakes, and that was the end of it, because the rear end started coming around as soon as he got into those brakes. Just didn't have enough grip, and that was enough to hurt the car for the night, probably. Too bad for Rick Greenaway. He was running well, trying to stay out of everybody's way, and we have our first caution of the night. And with that, the lead cars are coming down pit road right now. We're watching Brian Hacker on pit road, followed by Jason Garrett.
Yeah, looks like David Bachman and the number 30, I believe it's the 37 car of Hilton Young staying out right now, trying to get their laps back, Chris. As it looks right now, Hilton Young might be the one that's going to get the lucky dog. Everybody else comes down for 4 new tires and some Sunoco racing fuel.
Pit stops are happening. It'll be an interesting race off of pit road. Brian Hacker, he looks like he's got the lead still, and or not still, but off from pit road rather. Oh no, he does not. A couple of cars got out in front of him, including Jason Garrett. So Jason Garrett won the battle off pit road. That could be big.
Also not sure what happened to the number 5 car. He's down here on pit road smoking up a storm here as the number 45 comes in for his pit stop, followed closely by the number 37 of Hilton Young.
Too bad for the 5 car. 5 car James Edwards. Looks like he may be done for the night if he's smoking on pit road. That's not good. Back up front, you see David Bachman in the 84 car, but that's not going to be long. He's going to get the lucky dog here with a couple to go, and Jason Garrett in the 73 Home Depot car is going to go ahead and assume the lead position right behind that pace car. Fluffy, going to be excited to be behind that pace car.
Oh yeah, right now on the radio, I know he's screaming, "It's so floppy." He's one happy man. He had a really good pit stop there, Chris, and got to beat Brian Hacker off pit road.
I was looking at some pit times rather. Jason Garrett, absolutely blister. He's got to pay his crew more. 18.1 seconds. Everybody else, 22s, 23s, 24s. I don't know what he did different. Maybe he took less fuel. Maybe he only took, I can't imagine he only took 2 tires. I'm not sure what he did different. But whatever it was, got him to the lead of this race.
Yeah, sometimes the pit crews, they work really hard too in the sim and try to make it as real life as possible. So they sometimes you can get really lucky and get a really good pit stop, and sometimes you might have a guy who drops a lug nut or two, and it makes you sit there for a couple extra. I know that his car has been very clean tonight, so if there was any damage on it that they had to repair, it was very, very minimal, but that car looks pretty clean right now.
Yeah, I don't think there was any damage on it for that kind of pit time. And the guys start lining up 2 by 2, getting ready to go back green here at USA International, Racing for a Cause, late model series. The lights are off. They're coming around turn 3 and 4. They're going to go back green. Jason Garrett's leading the way. And he takes off. A nice hole shot for Jason Garrett, and he goes right up to the top line. Brian Hacker maintains position on second place. Troy Radford maintains third. Right now, Chris Rummel in the 52, a nice aggressive move on the bottom, but it doesn't end up paying off as
Number 60 in
didn't see
JT
that
there. I'm
one.
not exactly sure what happened to the 52 car. Chris Rummel, I don't know if he missed a shift or what, but he really slowed down and everybody just stacked up behind him.
Oh, we saw it live on air, but we'll go back for the replay because that one was nasty. And yeah, let's go do that now. So we're going to watch the 60 car, Justin Pinnell. He's on the inside of Andy Lambert right here. And it looks like something happens ahead of him. Yeah, the 52 car touched the apron. That slowed him down. JP tried to go to his outside, but just didn't have room, and that tore up a bunch of race cars.
And most certainly did. I was watching the number 60 there as he was entering pit road. He was smoking. But it looks like he's pretty beat up right now. We'll see what happens if he's going to be able to get back out there or not.
So we run 50 laps caution free, and then boom, boom, caution breeds caution. That's what happens on these short track runs. The patience is starting to go out of the window.
Well, as they say, cautions breed cautions, Chris, as I'm watching Andy Lambert and the number 35 Children's Miracle Network car come in. He's got some heavy damage there on the left side of his car, and he is coming back out right now.
Yeah, just a quick little fix me up if you can, please. Andy Lambert hitting the pit road just one more time. Trying to stay out and on the lead lap, though. Smart pits there. Jason Garrett still your leader, followed by Brian Hacker, Troy Radford, Chris Mefford. And I believe it was the 52 car, Chris Rummel, who actually hit the apron. That kind of started a chain reaction behind him. No fault of his. Those aprons come up and bite you.
Yeah, as we're saying, USA is a really small track, Chris. There's not a lot of room. Your spotter might tell you clear, but within a split second, there's a guy with the nose, right there, and that's exactly what happened to JP. I know he feels bad about it. That's not the way that he wanted to end his night.
Nope, nobody does.
as we're under caution here, as they're just following the pace car. The number 84 car comes back in. Looks like he might have missed his pit a little bit, had to pull back in. Gonna see what he goes here, if he's just going for fuel or what. I'm not seeing the car being jacked up. Actually, right now it is right side tires.
Right sides for David Bachman in the 84 car.
And it looks like the left sides are going on. Possibly maybe just one tire because it was pretty quick there. Right now we just have a couple cars that are just stuck on pit road. The number 60, Justin Pennuel, the Susan G. Coleman Dish Network car looks like he might be out for the night, followed by the Carolina team car, number 5 car of James Edwards. Looks like he might be done for the night, and Rick Greenaway in that autism number 24 is still sitting on pit road.
We come back up front. Looks like the lights are off on the pace car. Guys are side by side. We're getting ready to hit turn 3. And we're going to go back to live racing here at Racing for a Cause TV. JP, it happens, bud. It's short track. And with that, Jason Garrett reassumes the lead on that restart. On the outside of row 2, Chris Mefford's trying to make his presence felt as he's pushing hard to take over 3rd place from Troy Radford. Troy Radford on the inside, the preferred line. Chris Mefford might be heading backwards as we watch the action with him right now. Mefford in that 44 car, still on the outside. Troy Radford on the inside. That is, again, the preferred line. The 52 car of Chris Rummel. He is following Troy Radford on that inside line. A hard dive down as it looked like Chris Mefford was touching his brakes a little bit, trying to get back in line, but not soon enough. He's going to probably fall prey again.
Yeah, I know right now everyone's just trying to hope to get nose to tail here, Chris, just to tick off some more laps as we're coming around to lap 63 here. We're joined by, as you said, Justin Pennuel in the number 60 Susan G. Coleman / Dish Network car. Sorry about that, JP, bud. You know, it is short track. You probably were clear. I could see where your spotter would tell you that you're clear, but as we said earlier there, you know, in a split second, boom, somebody's right there. So, sorry for your night tonight, bud.
Chris Mefford finally finds a hole to get in line right ahead of Rowdy Johnson. Chris Mefford was once fighting for 2nd, now back to 5th. So he took a pretty big loss in position there, but he's fighting back to the inside of the 52 car. Just didn't have enough speed to make it there. The 52 car closed the door on him, and Mefford had to fall back just a little bit. Rowdy Johnson starts turning on his offensive blink mode, and he is blinking away trying to get to the front of this field.
Pretty much field is just sitting there nose to tail right now, Chris. There's a little bit of movement there as they're coming onto the straightaways, but not really much going on. As you said, Rowdy is starting to blink there with his defensive move, trying to get Pat Smith's eyes bugging out a little bit, seeing what happens there as Pat's just following around in that number 75 car.
Pat Smith had a little bit of that earlier accident, but not enough to hurt him. You see right there, Rowdy Johnson definitely faster coming out of the corners. That's the 2nd time we've seen him bump into the rear of Mefford, trying to get him to move up. But he's doing a nice job of bump and run. He's just forgetting the run part.
Well, these guys do have a couple of laps on their tires, Chris. They're not as new as a lot of these guys wish they were, but they didn't want to go in for another set there on that last caution. They're all just ready pretty much to go. I'm watching Chris Rummel here in the number 52 Thrustmaster car. He's doing a really good job as Fluffy moves up onto the outside as Brian Hacker might take the lead here, and he does.
Brian Hacker to the lead. Jason Garrett was almost stuck up top, but he was able to come back down. And that puts Troy Radford right where he was, back to 3rd place. So right now, Hacker, Garrett, Radford, Rummel, and Mefford, your top 5.
Yeah, they're followed closely by Rowdy Johnson, that number 13 D-Strong car, Patrick Smith in the number 75, Timothy Hale in the 00, Stacy Bedard in the 03, and Doug Wasaki in the number 45, rounding out your top 10.
Really nice battle shaping up in the top 5, top 6 cars. Right now, any small mistake, you could lose a position or two. So they're trying to keep the cars under control. So we got to focus in on Garrett and Troy Radford. Jason Garrett in the 73 car touches the wall just a little bit, not enough to slow him down. A nice view from the wall right there, showing the cars, showing the speed, and they are going as fast as they can on this track. And we'll give you an idea of just what that looks like here on the track. We'll go to your leader. Like Brian was able to touch 110 miles an hour down to 78 in the corners. And as he starts getting the speed back up, we'll see what it looks like on the back stretch. 120 miles an hour, so a definite change in line on the front stretch to back stretch, or as far as speed goes. Brian Hacker definitely leading the way. Nobody can figure out how to get around him.
I got Rowdy Johnson trying to go on the inside as Chris Mepper does a little wiggle there as you get down into the apron. It's going to allow the number 13 car to gain a position there. Chris Mepper drops back one, Patrick Smith, and followed by Timothy Hale.
Rowdy Johnson in the D Strong car. Bug, you're missing a heck of a good race, bud. Let me catch you up here. Good to see you, by the way.
Hey, Bug.
So far, we've had 3 lead changes, 2 cautions, only 10 laps here at USA International Speedway. These guys are really putting on a heck of a good show tonight. Really keeping it clean for the most part, which is awesome. Do have a few cars that have fallen prey to those 2 accidents that we've had, but we are definitely looking forward to a good finish here with 75 down, 25 to go. Your leader, Brian Hacker, new member to Racing for a Cause. This is his first race, and he has led most of it.
Just going through, looking through some of the paint schemes here, Chris, as these guys are just taking off laps here. I really like that number 37 car of Hilton T. Young. He's running with Church's Chicken, but what I really like is what he has on his back bumper. It's a big slow down. I love that.
I see it right there. And we'll go up front. Looks like Troy Radford was able to get around Garrett. So was Chris Rummel in the 52. So Garrett finds himself back in the 4th position in the 73 Home Depot car. He's followed by the blinker himself, the 13 car, D Strong, Rowdy Johnson. Chris Mefford still running in 6th place. He's looking for a way to pass some cars. He's followed by Pat Smith. Patrick in the 75 car running a pretty nice race. A little bit of damage on the front end. That was from the 2nd accident, I believe. Right behind him in the 00, you've got Timothy Hale. He's having a really nice race. Good job, Timothy. In 9th place right now. Again, he was involved in somebody else's accident. Andy Lambert really doing a nice job holding on to that car. He's in the top 10, followed by the 03 car of Stacy Bedard, who's been silently doing a really nice job tonight. He's worked his way up to 10th place. Back in 11th, the 45 car. That's Douglas Wysocki. 12th. And final car on the lead lap. That's Hilton T. Young. So a really nice job for him in that 37 car.
Yeah, these guys have really been putting on a show, Chris. Like you said, 2 cautions for 10 laps. Only 3 lead changes, but it is a little bit harder here on this track. And this isn't the super speedways and stuff like that where we're going to get a bunch. So it's really good to see as we're joined by the driver of the number 24 Autism car of Ricky Greenaway. Sorry about your luck, bud.
As we check in again with the leader, he is pulling away from Troy Radford. The gap now 1.7, 1.8, depending on where you are on the track. And that gap looks to be increasing as Brian Hacker, new member to Racing for a Cause, absolutely pulling away with this one. Lap 82 of 100. I mean, you can hear him feathering that throttle, getting around that corner as well as he can. That's a real delicate touch on that throttle from what I just heard.
Yeah, Mr. Hacker's doing a really good job here. As you said, it's his first race here with Racing for a Cause. We're very glad to have him here. Watching on his in-car cam, he's very lightly moving that wheel, so he really has it down. He knows that less input is more when you're on the racetrack, and that's what he wants to go, and it's really showing that he knows what he's doing, as that lead has increased a little bit, as Troy Rappert is still sitting there in second with Chris Rummel and Jason Garrett.
Watching from the inside view, you can see him getting ready to come into the corner, and what a nice job he's doing. Yeah, Greeny, that's exactly what I saw. Just a little touch of the brakes and didn't have enough tire to hold the grip on the rear, and it came around on you. That's exactly what I saw. As we look in on the leader here, Brian Hacker, just watching the cockpit, you see up ahead of him a couple of cars that he's targeted to put another lap down.
As we're heading into lap 86 here, Chris, I want to, as we've been doing all night, but I really want to say thank you again to all the viewers watching. We see you out there. Feel free to chat up, Bug. It's good to see you, Bud. Sorry that you're a little bit late and that you missed a little bit of the action, but you're going to be able to watch it here later. But Chris and I really want to thank you guys for coming out each and every Monday and Wednesday night to watch us here at Racing for a Cause TV with the Racing for a Cause late model and K&N series.
And again, next Monday night, the K&N series invades Richmond. So that's going to be a really exciting race. I can't wait to see that one. Can't wait to bring you all the action. Racing for a Cause has that to offer. And this one's winding down. It's been a pretty quiet race.
Yeah, it really has, Chris. I mean, definitely there was no lack of action on the track. These guys are being very calm and collective, figuring out what they want to do. They're showing that they can race these cars around these short tracks, and they're having a lot of fun, I'm sure. But yeah, back to the Monday Night K&N Throwback Series. Like you said, the Pontiac Assignment 150 at Richmond. Followed up the week after that will be the Prime Star 100 at Atlanta. Then we're heading over to Darlington, Texas, and then Bristol before we're off for the 4th of July weekend.
And we're going to take a look back at Chris Mefford. He's followed by D. Strong himself. Rowdy Johnson gives him another nice little love tap. He's really trying to set him up for a pass. Just trying to get him to go a little tight so that he can get around him. And it definitely looks like Rowdy has the exit, but Chris has the entrance to those turns. He's able to pull away on the entrance. Rowdy catches him about midway. Boom, another little tap right there. No harm, no foul. I'm sure these guys are just having a lot of fun.
I got to talk with Rowdy there extensively before, as the number 84 crashed into the wall there. The guys had to check up a little bit as Chris Mefford and Rowdy Johnson, that 13 car, make the pass for him there. Rowdy put in a lot of time this week on this track. I'm not sure if he started at 5 a.m. racing or if he put 500 laps down. But he sent me a 500 number when I was giving him the little interview there, as Jason Fluffy Garrett in the 73 there got a little bit loose, which is going to allow Chris Mefford in that 44 car to make the pass there as Rowdy comes down on him.
Jason Garrett with a big wiggle up the track. He just got tight. His tires might be starting to go away. Chris Mefford able to get around him, and D. Strong is right on his bumper, looking to gain position. He doesn't know whether to go up or down, but we got a lap car there, so he stays down and he gets past the lap car. Meanwhile, positions haven't really changed all that much. You got Brian Hacker. He's up there up front. Troy Radford second. Chris Rummel third. And we're keeping an eye right now on Chris Mefford and Jason Garrett and Rowdy Johnson in the D-Strong.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see there. I know Chris Mefford and Fluffy work together a lot as a team to see what's going to happen if Jason, or if Jason finds out that as he taps the wall there a little bit, which I'm sure he's not too happy about because he's going to lose a little bit of room. But it'll be interesting to see what happens there if they play nice or if somebody gets moved.
So far, everybody's playing nice as we have done 95 of 100. This race is just about in the books. We're going to hope for a green flag finish here tonight at USA International Speedway down in Florida. It's now an empty parking lot, but on iRacing it lives on.
Yes, it does, Chris. It's always sad when we see a track that disappears like that. I've done some research on this track a little bit, to see, especially when I was down in Daytona. Um, we were thinking about maybe trying to drive around and find where it is, kind of like what I do with our local track here, Catamount Stadium in Milton, Vermont. But it's always sad to see something like that happen when tracks just go away. The cookie cutters kind of took over, and it was kind of the death of the small track. There is one cool picture that I did find on Google. It was actually the number 8 Budweiser car was racing around this track, so it was kind of cool.
Yeah, the Monster Energy Cup cars actually used to practice on this track, so that's pretty cool and really kind of sad to see it gone, but yeah, I guess that happens with racetracks. They come and go.
That's very true, but like you said, we're keeping it alive and well here on iRacing at the Racing for a Cause League. We hit this track quite a few times in a lot of our series, so the guys really like it. It is a fun track to race.
Meanwhile, in the closing laps, Chris Mefford has pulled away from Jason Garrett. He's actually going after Chris Rummel in the 52 car. He's trying to make a top 3 finish out of this one, but it might be too little too late as they go around turn 3 and into 4 and coming around the front stretch. Mefford with an outside line at the line, and he just didn't have quite enough to do it as Chris Rummel takes 3rd place. Well, a whale of a race. Brian Hacker just absolutely destroyed this track, leading 80 laps of this race. 80 of 100, that's 80%. That's pretty darn good for your first time out with the guys.
Yeah, everybody did a really good job, but it's really good to see, a new name out there winning races. It was a good, clean race. I tip my hat to all the drivers, even the ones that had a bad night. Sometimes luck's not always on your side. It is unfortunate when things happen, but everybody did a really good job tonight, Chris.
Absolutely. That was a very, very clean race. Had enough action to keep us on our toes. I don't know if he's going to burn the house down. Some people don't. Some people do. It looks like he's content sitting right there. There he goes, Brian Hacker. Lights those rear tires up. Let's see if he completes a figure 8. Yes, he does. Good job tonight, Brian Hacker. So, that's our race. Let's see how it ended up. Your top 10 tonight. Brian Hacker, your leader and winner of tonight's 100-lap event here at USA International Speedway. He's followed by Troy Radford in the 94 car, Chris Rummel in the 52. Chris Mefford at the line just couldn't get there. He finished 4th. Jason Garrett, Fluffy, in the 73 car. He took home 5th for a nice top 5 finish. Rowdy Johnson, he's 6th. Andy Lambert gathers it up. He's coming home 7th. Pat Smith in 8th. Stacy Bedard with a very nice 9th place finish. And Timothy Hale, your 10th place car. Brian Hacker, that was a very great race for you. And I think... Is he in our team speak?
Yeah, he is. I just moved him up into the staging room, Chris.
Oh, perfect. Let's get our winner tonight up here into the booth. It'd be interesting to talk to somebody we haven't spoken to ever before. Brian Hacker, you got Chris Legge, Rick Hammond up in the booth. Do you have a copy with us?
I've got you guys. You got me?
I sure do, bud. Hey, that's a hell of a race, man. Led 80 laps out of 100. How'd the car feel?
It was pretty good. I didn't realize, honestly, that this was a fixed setup race, so I spent about an hour beforehand putting a setup together that really didn't matter in the end, did it?
No, I don't think you could have done any better than what you did tonight. That was a pretty dominant performance.
I appreciate that. This is the first race in this league. A lot of good guys. It was clean racing. I mean, you don't go 100 laps in a late model with only one accident very often, so appreciate that.
Brian, I know. Well, you've seen our races on YouTube, I guess. So the next question, anybody you want to thank out there?
Yeah, a couple sponsors on the car. Loves Park Motorsports out of Northern Illinois. They helped me out. I know that this is racing for a cause. So next week when I show back up, I'll have a cause that's near and dear to me on the car.
That's awesome, bud. Rick, you have anything for Brian?
Yeah, Brian, this is Rick Hammond up in the booth. First, I want to say welcome to the league, but it's great to have you. You did one heck of a job tonight, and I just want to say congratulations.
Thanks, appreciate that.
Your winner tonight, USA International Speedway, in a dominant performance, leading 80 laps out of 100, Brian Hacker. Well, we'd be remiss if we didn't talk to second and third place finishers. Troy Radford, your second place car, and I'm sure he was trying to get to the lead, but just didn't seem to have it there tonight. But Troy, this is Chris and Rick up in the booth. You got a copy?
I am. How are you gentlemen doing?
Doing really well, bud. How are you tonight?
Say I'm good. Good race there. Just tires took too long to get in. I was catching them a little bit there at the end, but just couldn't get it to go on the short run.
Yeah, that happens, and so you were following Brian out there. He seems like he's going to be a pretty good fit for the league, huh?
Oh my gosh, yeah, absolutely. Say he's a hard racer. He kept his tires under him. Just kept it clean. Ran a really good race tonight.
Yeah, bud. So you've been up here before. Anybody you want to thank?
Of course, like to thank my family for letting me get out here and do this. We have to pull in a little extra help to watch the kids sometimes to do this. Of course, my teammates with Chris and Jason and Tom. I know Tom didn't get to be here tonight, but he'll be back. And of course, again, you guys for just putting it on and doing all the awesome stuff you do.
Rick, you got anything for Troy tonight?
Nah, I just want to say congratulations once again, bud. You ran a heck of a race tonight, kept it really clean, did a great job. I was kind of hoping that you're going to be able to catch up to him, to put a little pressure on him, to have a little bit of fun, welcome to the league a little bit, but it was a good time.
No, absolutely. Either way, good race all around. I mean, heck, I bet that one was a hoot to watch on TV.
Yeah, it really was. It was some little bit of bumper banging there, but everybody kind of mind their P's and Q's, and that made for a pretty good race. Troy, I want to thank you again for joining us up in the booth and a great second place finish tonight.
Hey, thank you guys again.
And we'll bring up the driver of the number 52 car. We have Chris Rummel with a third place finish tonight. Chris, this is your first time up here. I want to welcome you to the booth. You got Chris and Rick Hammond Jr. up here. What did you think of the race, bud?
It was a really good race. Had a lot of green flag runs. Thought it'd be a lot more cautions than there was. We had a lot of good hard racing. People not trying to win the race in the first lap. 100 laps, long time.
Yeah, it really is. So, anybody you want to thank out there tonight?
Yeah, me, myself, and I.
Yeah, you're the one driving it. Why not, right?
Yeah, driving, crew chief, and the pit crew.
There you go. Chris Rummel, the driver of the number 52 car. I want to thank you very much for driving with us tonight, and we look forward to seeing you again next week. Rick, you have any closing thoughts?
Yeah, next week's looking up to be good. I mean, these guys put on one heck of a show tonight here at USA International Speedway as we get ready to head to Irwindale next week. I think it's going to be a really good, another 100-lap race there, 50 miles, another short track. Going to be a lot of fun, Chris.
That's it. Irwindale next week. But before we go there, we go to Richmond in the K&N car on Monday night. We'll be starting the broadcast at 8:35. Racing will start right around 9 o'clock, and we're going to be bringing you all the action live here on YouTube. I want to thank you all for joining us tonight. Bug, I'm glad you could see the finish, and I'm glad we could get you a green flag finish finally here. And look forward to doing it again all season long here at Racing for a Cause TV. Good night, everybody.
Good night.